Sales synonyms. What's another word for sales? Just the other day, my client Brooke was sharing with me that helping her sales team stop thinking of sales as a bad thing and helping them think of it as service has really shifted their momentum as we start really building their team. And in this video, I'm going to talk about sales synonyms and why it's important to think of sales as service. Now, if you like this video, make sure to mash that like button so that I know to create more content like this. Comment with any thoughts or questions below this video. And of course, if you want more content like this and to be notified when we put it out, make sure to click the subscribe button so you get notified by the little notification bell in the corner. Closing, winning, even killing. There are lots of synonyms for sales in the high ticket space. My two favorites are service and enrollment. And those are two important frames that not only increase closes, but make it way easier to look at yourself in the mirror. Let's face it, a lot of people hate sales, and I've talked about this in lots of videos before. I ask at almost every conference that I go to where I speak, I ask the question, hey, what's the first word that comes to mind when I say sales? Raise your hand. And the audience raises their hand, and almost always the first thing somebody says is something like sleazy, pushy, I hate it. Those are the kinds of things that people say. And that's one of the reasons that actually we try not to use the word sales once we work with a client and we're training, especially when we're training their sales team. We really try to get them to think of sales as service, to think of it as enrollment. And that's why our program is called Authentic Enrollment. And here's the thing, the best frame that you can have when it comes to sales is service, because that's exactly what it is. Sales is service. Well, it is if you're doing it right. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there, and there are a lot of sales trainers out there who their whole goal is just close, get them, get their money, get the credit card, right? And you could see some of the videos that we do on this channel where we actually talk about some of those attitudes around sales. You can see that in things like The Wolf of Wall Street or Glengarry Glen Ross or any of those movies where the whole goal is just to get money. It's not about service. Well, that to me isn't really the art of sales. The art of sales really is coming from a place of service, and you make a lot more money and you serve a lot more people and you sleep a lot better at night when you think of sales from a service perspective. When your goal isn't to just sell people, it's to actually sell the right people, the ones that you know you can help, and to sell them a product that you really believe in, that they can sink their teeth into, that they can get results from. And if you're doing that, then you can think of sales as service. You can come from that service perspective. So the key is, do you know that your clients are better if they act and they invest with you than they are if they don't, right? And if you help somebody with a transformation, right? In the coaching space, we help people make the decision to enroll in the program, but more than that, they're enrolling in the future that they want to create. And that's what we're really doing. If you're in the coaching space, they're showing up to a strategy call, a discovery call, a coaching call to make a decision about how they're going to get unstuck. And if you've done your job really uncovering the problem and you can help them shift that problem. Now, if it's something simple that you can help them in 2 minutes, then just help them. There's no reason to sell them anything. The reality is that, especially when it comes to transformation, if they could get the resolution in 2 minutes, if you could give it to them in 2 minutes, well, you'd probably be fairly well off because you are able to make that kind of transformation very quickly. But the reality is that most transformation does take time. It does take an investment in time and energy and self, and they need a guide, they need a mentor to walk them through that. And that's what most of the clients we work with in the coaching and consulting and the transformation space are doing. So again, if you know your clients are better off when they act and they invest with you, then you are actually able to think of sales as service. And that's a great frame to have going into your sales calls. So our program is called the Authentic Enrollment Sales Process. The reason we call it the Authentic Enrollment Sales Process is for all the reasons I've outlined above. We want to authentically enroll them, not just in our program, but in the future that they want to create. And we've talked about this in many of the videos on this channel about the right script, and the different steps that you need in order to do that. But one of the things that you need to do first is to get the right mindset around sales. If you think of sales as sleazy or pushy, if you think of it as something uncomfortable or that you don't want to do, well, then your results are going to be lackluster, and clearly that's not where you want to be. So the first thing that you've got to do is shift the way that you think about sales. Now, enrollment is the act of helping your client take the first step in their transformational journey. And that first step is to realize why they are stuck, why they haven't gotten results before, right? We need to uncover what the problem is, why they're there, what's the consequence of staying there, and what are their doubts about their ability to solve that problem on their own. And once we get that, then we've got clarity on why they're stuck. And then we want to qualify them to make sure that they're the kind of person that we can actually help, that we can actually solve their problem with them. And if we get all of that, then we can enroll them into the future that's possible for them by walking them through exactly what we would do, the high-level steps that are going to get them the transformation that they're actually seeking. And this also really, part of the service here, even if they don't buy, we have so often heard from people that we speak to on our enrollment calls that they got value just out of helping them take the blinders off of why they're stuck. And many times when I have somebody who just, their mindset's wrong, they're just in their own way and they can't move forward, or they're literally in a situation where they just can't afford to invest, which, by the way, is rare. Most of the times that's an excuse because you haven't fully sold them. But we have spoken to people who literally, I've had people who are on the verge of foreclosure, who are losing all of their assets, who are unable, they have no credit, they have nobody who will loan the money, and they're really back up against the wall, and they're just not going to be able to buy. And I've still had them reach out to me months later just to say, hey, that call really helped me because it helped me see why I was stuck and where the problem was. And many of those people do come back when they get the financial resources because they got that transformation on the call. The simple transformation of seeing their problem from a different perspective, taking the blinders off. And really even just being brave enough to see that transformed future, that vision of the future that is now possible because you've helped them see why they've been where they've been, why they've been stuck, and what it's going to take from a high level in order for them to actually get out of whatever, whatever it's costing them, whatever the consequences of staying stuck where they are. And then in helping them move forward, the ones who do move forward, you're helping them get over the fear of making the decision and really enrolling them the belief that, hey, change is possible, that they can actually do this, so that they then make that investment to work with you. They're now, just the sheer act of making the investment actually puts them in a great place because they're actually now stepping into that future in their own mind. They've taken on that identity as somebody that's solving this problem by making an investment to work with a mentor who's solved it for many people just like them before and who's going to help them. And so this really does serve them because not only are we going to do a great job, obviously, you've got the goods on the inside of your program or your coaching to help them, but just them shifting their identity and working with you on the call is a huge way to serve them. And then, the final thing is, now they're actually in the program, and if you're following the process we work through, then you're also going to button down the sale and really help them, again, to set the identity of someone that, hey, there are going to be things that are going to come up, not saying that it's, it's going to be easy every step of the way, but we're going to simplify it. We're going to show you, and we're going to be there right next to you, holding your hand, walking you through it. You can do this, right? And if you've buttoned them down properly, then they're now, again, stepping into that identity of somebody that can get the result. So there are lots of different synonyms for sales. There's closing and killing and all of that. But again, for me, I really like enrollment and I really like service because that's the way I want to think of what I do, and that allows me to close at a very high rate because I'm not looking to just collect credit cards. I'm looking to serve the people. I'm looking to enroll them in the future vision that they want to create, and that for me allows me to really feel good about what it is that I'm doing, and it allows the client again to take on the identity of someone who can get the result. So if you like this video, mash that like button so that we know and we can create more content just like this. If you've got any questions about anything I've said here today, make sure to leave a comment down below. Of course, if you want more content like this, subscribe so you get notified by the little notification bell in the corner. And if you want more training and support and guidance and to interact with us in our Facebook community, you can click the link in the description box below this video and join right away.